focus. Ideate, innovate, enable. ICICI Lombard and CNBC-TV18 present India Risk Management Awards, a decade of celebrating risk champions.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Risk Masterclass, an exclusive initiative under the aegis of India Risk Management Awards, brought to you by ICICI Lombard General Insurance and CNBC-TV18. I'm your host Mugdha Kaldra and delighted to see you all this evening. For over a decade, the India Risk Management Awards have stood out as celebrating excellence in risk mitigation strategies. Today, we embark on a new chapter as we shift our focus towards India's trajectory to superpower status, delving into the intricacies of risk management, risk mitigation in this transformative journey. Through this masterclass, we aim to unravel the multifaceted nature of these risks and explore innovative strategies and explore more on how India's growth and development can get affected and can progress. And now to set the tone for the evening, I would like to invite Sahil Kangotra, Head Corporate Solutions Group West and East, ICICI Lombard General Insurance, for his executive address.
I would briefly tell you, India Risk Managers Award, we started 10 years ago, along with CNBC TV18. Objective of this was to identify risk managers and their efforts, and also the companies who are investing in risk management as a priority. We are thankful to all of you, our respective customers, our partners, and diverse stakeholders who have transformed this concept into a huge success over a period of time. So why risk management? So I think we all are aware that world is becoming smaller and any crisis at any part of the world has huge impact to all of us. In my view, technology enhancement across businesses is going to be the game changer. They're going to be ease of business, benefit on cost, speed for the end customer, and this will help all businesses grow. However, this impact also poses unbelievable risk associated with it. So this makes us rethink, is our strategy right? Do we need to adapt to new approach and reinvent the new ways of risk management and mitigation? So once we know that this has happened, what are we doing as an organization? So I can tell you that ICICI Lombard, we believe that the role of general insurance company is not only to settle your claims or provide you the capacity. We are no longer just a capacity provider, an efficient claim settlement partner. We are here, position ourselves over a period of time as a risk solution provider to all our corporates. We work with you to identify your risk proactively and predict potential losses. We also simultaneously try to find solution to hedge against all the probable losses that you could have. Our value-add services today across products, be it with fire, engineering line of business, marine liability, has been appreciated by a lot of customers. I'm happy to share that we are industry pioneers in IoT devices. First IoT that we launched was on the fire hydrant system, which is also a patented product for us. Then over a period of time, we have also developed IoTs for humidity and temperature control. We also give early warnings to our customers on natural catastrophes, so it could be via phone call, email. So this advanced calls really helps our customer ensure their risk is minimized, so they can take precaution, God forbid, if there's a catastrophe at their plant or their office location. Our marine loss prevention activity, where we check the entire supply chain for our customers, and how we vet technology by in form of whether we can do a physical inspection of vehicles moving, has prevented a lot of losses, especially for the large customers, be it in the pharma space or FMCG space. Over a period of time, we have introduced a lot of wellness initiatives, and we have our own in-house app known as II Take Care app, which is a one-stop solution for all your insurance needs, specifically on health. I'm happy to share that today we have over 9 million customers using that app. 75% of our total corporate employees are using that app, and they are using a lot of features, including doctor call, which are free features, emergency service, and also face scan. So we have worked on many wellness initiatives across large corporates, which help in prevention, which ensure that reduced period of hospitalization and improve physical health for their employees, which eventually helped in claims and also the cost part, and definitely it helped in the absenteeism for the organization, which is, win-win for everyone. Let's open today's discussion and welcome our eminent speakers from diverse industries. Looking forward to a great evening, and thank you all.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, to continue with the evening's proceedings, I would now like to invite a very distinguished financial professional with nearly 4 decades of experience in internal audit and risk management. Please join me in welcoming Mukundan KV, Chief Executive Officer, the Institute of Internal Auditors, India, for the keynote address.
It is always a great honor and privilege to be standing here. I have been coming here for the past almost a decade in different capacity, in my more to do with my previous employment, and we have been getting several awards, and all thanks to the ICSA Lombard and as well as the CNBC. So at this occasion, first and foremost, I would like to compliment both ICSA Lombard and as well as CNBC-TV18 for taking this initiative of recognizing the risk management as a function, because this started a decade ago when board agenda was not that great with reference to the risk management function. Today, the risk management function, it is definitely a top of the agenda of all the board meetings. So today, the risk which is coming from the business side, it is more to do with the climate change, information security, geopolitical crisis, supply chain management, pandemic, talent, and so on, which was never there, or even if it was there, this was never discussed in the audit committee or the risk committee those days. This is taken from the IIA's Global Risk Report of 2024, and this indicates how the prioritization of risk is changing. After 3 years, so what you find, the digital disruption as 5th in serial number, it is becoming 2 in after 3 years. And what you happen to see in the serial number 14, the climate change, it is becoming the 4th or 5th in the serial order when after 3 years it is coming. So this also create lot more complexity for creating a resilience. So that is where as chief risk officers and the other CXOs in this sitting in this forum, you have to be very careful. And how do you achieve the resilience? Particularly when I talk to you that almost 75% of the readiness level is far less than the desired level. A culmination of numerous decisions, even if intentional and aligned with the company goal, that companies make every day without considering the long-range potential consequences. Integrity is part of everybody's this one. So if you don't attend a small integrity issue at a lower level, you ignore these things, okay, then what is the concept of this one? So in the long term, how it will get impacted? So this is where we would like to, I would definitely like to emphasize on the slow burn. Please do not ignore. So I would like to say that it is something like you should have definitely the big picture impact, but don't ignore the pixels. Many times you may have to look at the pixels. Now when the surprises comes, what is our problem? We don't know the speed at which it is coming and the frequency at which it is coming, how frequently it is. The famine and other thing, we have eradicated a lot of time, but it has come back again. So that is something which is very, very important, from our point of view. So how much we are prepared for that particular point of view, that will be is very, very important for coming to that. So the issues like supply chain risk, I wanted to ask you that during COVID time, supply chain risk was the peak, okay? And all of us realized the importance of supply chain risk. But how many of us have capable or created our technology we have implemented where we are able to map our suppliers, sub-suppliers and sub-sub-suppliers currently, and we are able to get a system at our place, where on everyday dashboard, I can understand that my second tier supplier or the third tier supplier, there is a strike in their place or there is a pandemic in their factory and we are not able to get it. So now today again, we are on the supply chain crisis. How many of us are equipped for this one? So please do not ignore these sort of things because it is not on the visibility. developing a growing, high-performing risk management function is not an annual operating exercise. It is not like a budget exercise. Merely doing what your neighbor has done is also not enough. It is a journey that takes time, investment, and perseverance that must parallel to the journey of that of your organization. So takes the time, make investment, and you will be glad that you did it. So with that, I conclude with the Vivekananda's quote, that is, take risk in your life. If you win, you can lead, and if you lose, you can guide. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
ICICI Lombard and CNBC-TV18 present India Risk Management Awards, a decade of celebrating risk champions.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a panel discussion on mastering risk resilience in the era of polycrisis. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Suresh Chatya, Senior Vice President, Treasury and Insurance, Lupin. Parthasarthi S., Chief Controller, Accounting and Taxation and Head Transformation, Air Energy. Please do come and join me on the stage, sir. Mr. Vineet Prabhu, Head Insurance, Vedanta. Rishi Nathani, Chief Business Officer, Multi-Commodity Exchange of India. And Ramanjeet Bhalla, Head Special Industries Group, ICICI Lombard General Insurance. First, I think I would just want to get an idea of very industry-centric polycrisis that you may be able to define. So let me start with you. And what is the impact you think is on global pharmaceutical landscape when we think about polycrisis? I mean, of course, we have seen COVID, but post-COVID as well. Where do you see the world in terms of polycrisis?
As the word goes, polycrisis, we need to literally understand that it's a multiple crises coming together, either simultaneously or one by one or in sequence. That is the way we pursue, and then what the pharmaceutical sector currently in India would be facing through. As far as India is concerned, perhaps we have alternative therapies available. There are Ayurvedic medicines available. There are homeopathic medicines available. There are, at the end, even home remedies available. Perhaps we would be better off than the rest of the world. And lastly, perhaps we have the best workforce. We have the manufacturing facility in India. Perhaps we can face the polycrisis much more better than the rest of the world.
Partha, if I may get you in, when we look at India's natural resource landscape, what can polycrisis look like there?
Coming to the energy landscape, it's easier to say, yeah, we will transition to the energy, but what will be the societal impact on transitioning to the energy? Do we have sufficient technology to support that part? And whatever the crisis which has been made by the Western world, why we should be making good to it. So these are some factors which will be there because obviously we wanted to get into a clean energy. Mm-hmm. Obviously we cannot get out of the petrochemical because invariably people say that like, okay, we will move into an EV. We will move into a hydrogen. But what is a base on which these are produced? If I'm going to use a coal and a petroleum product to produce it, what it makes, it doesn't make any sense. So obviously, because it is very closely held in the natural resources, obviously your journey on a clean energy, along with the health, is a real crisis which is going to be there. And the societal impact is that like when we move into the alternate energy, how are you going to manage the displaced?
I'll take that thread forward, Vineet, because Vedanta is one of the world's leading natural resource and technology conglomerate that functions across the globe. And risk management, therefore, would look very different to a company like yours. In an industry where there are so many stakeholders, what would polycrisis mean then?
So when we look at from operating in different geographies, we are primarily an Indian conglomerate which is spread across large operations in India and lot many operations across the globe, including Africa, where there are natural resources in abundance. So taking from what Mr. Mukundan said in the initial, the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report talks about hosts of risk which are there. And the biggest threat of a poly crisis is the interconnection of various risks. So if you look at from our angle in terms of a natural resources company, the taking on from what Partha also said, the environment, HSE risk, health, safety, and environment. These are some of the biggest risks that we face. And this is the risk which is associated with our company or our operation, but there are a host of other related risks when we start from, say, the cost of living, increased cost of living for people and communities around us, people who are working with us, vendors with us.
Rishi, I will ask you the same question, which is you are India's largest commodity exchange platforms, and polycrisis seems to be larger than life when we talk about commodities. What have you seen in the last couple of years? And what are some of the risks that you have already seen that have magnified in the last couple of years and are likely to become things that need to be managed at a much higher scale in, say, a year or two?
In our experience of running a commodity exchange, and I'd like to say, as per the latest FI stats, we are the third largest in the world in options and the seventh largest in futures, fifth largest overall. So, biggest factor which I am seeing in the last few years is that with Indian economy growing, there is a crying need for Indian corporates to realize that they need to manage their risks. And while we, insure the factory or insure our cargo, freight, whatever, what about price risk management? Now, that is one thing which most corporates in India ignore, maybe gloss over, or I don't know, they don't take it maybe that seriously, but that is very important. Because every business, whether you're a manufacturer or you're using commodities as an input, are exposed to price risk. Now, when you're exposed to price risk, you need to manage that, and you can manage that through proper hedging. Now, that hedging can be done on a commodity exchange.
Ramanjit, I'll get you in. We are also seeing a lot of times not enough R&D is put into risk mitigation or risk calculation, and R&D is that one department which, away from the new products and new patenting, etc., has to move into also in calculating what a crisis can look like, what your strategies should be looking like. In that scenario, when ICICI Lombard comes in, what is the approach with which you prepare for a polycrisis, and what do you take to your clients then?
We have seen multitude of crises happening in last couple of years, and which has impacted all of us adversely. We being the risk carriers of our customers, customers insure with us, and therefore it is very, very imperative and important for us that how do we manage risk as an organization, since we have to rise to the occasion and support our clients in the times of need. There's a 4-point strategy that we follow in our company. First of all is the business continuity planning and the execution that we do. There is, a technical infrastructure now in place for almost 10,000 out of our employees, wherein if in case required, they can work in a hybrid environment or even of a remote location and still continue to render the quality of services that they are able to render when they are working from office. So that's one large step which, the pandemic told us, and we are ever ready as far as, that particular thing is concerned. We are encouraging more and more customers to make use of digital platforms, to avail our services, rather it's either the insurance services or the allied services. I can give you one strong example on which my colleague Sahil also touched upon. It is the I'll Take Care app. The app was more like a business continuity tool that we came out with just 2 features in the pandemic, March 2020. Those features were primarily, downloading your health cards and the facility to submit claims on online basis, since the physical mode of, this thing was completely eliminated at that point of time. Ever since, that was more like a digital delivery of services that, we had come out with to ensure seamless continuity in terms of our business delivery services. Ever since, the app has evolved into a full-time, I'll say, a one-stop shop for all the wellness needs. But it is something that, the company is always aware that more and more transactions to be conducted on digital platforms, so that if in case such kind of crisis arise, that at least the customers are also ready and the insurance companies like us is also ready. The third point is that we have a very strong pipeline or a very strong intention to build a talent pipeline. This is at all levels, not just at the senior step levels. The kind of enabling environment that we provide, or I'll say the kind of empowerment or the enabling environment helps us attract the right talent, nurture the right talent, and build that talent into various positions, so that that helps us in effective succession planning. The second point I would like to touch upon is the effective underwriting philosophy that we have. Underwriting plays a very, very significant role when it comes to selecting the right risk, pricing the risks right, and ensuring that we grow profitable without compromising on the risks.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your insights and sharing your valuable feedback and giving us your deliberations on the industry.
ICICI Lombard and CNBC-TV18 present India Risk Management Awards, a decade of celebrating risk champions. Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.